Today I'm going to talk to you about the second heart habit, which is truth. And of course, truth sounds like a habit you would really want to use frequently if you were trying to have a successful life. But the thing about truth is, it is a very squirrely girl. So to illustrate that point, I want you to take a minute right now to think a little bit about what are some things that you believe are absolute truths. Take just a minute right now and think about what those could be for you. Maybe write them down. Some of the things I thought were absolute truths along the way was the sky is blue, for example. Grass is green. Clouds are white. God loves me. And I do believe those to be true, but the thing is, those things I mentioned are all what we call subjective truths, not objective truths. Now, we might like to think that the sky is blue is an objective truth, right? But is the sky actually blue? Because I think if you've done a little bit of science, you kind of have learned already, no, the sky is not blue. Air is invisible. We don't even see it. What we see in blue is a reflection of the water on the planet, right? So the sky is not in fact blue. And grasses, yes, while some are green, many are not green, or they are various shades of green, etc. So truth frequently is subjective. And when I say that truth is subjective, do you know what subjective means? It means subject to the interpretation of the person who is evaluating that truth. Think about it like this with me. Each of us has our own perspective, right? We each grew up how we grew up. We experienced what we experienced. We learned what we learned. And that is how we evaluate those truths that I'm talking about, right? So most truths are actually subject to our interpretation of them and are not in fact objective. So if my truth subjectively is true for me and your truth is totally different, maybe even opposite, but subjectively true for you, which one is actually the truth? The heart habits would tell you they're both true. They're both completely true. Your subjective truth is true and their subjective truth also true. The question is, can you handle holding both of those things at the same time? And especially if their truth is opposite of yours or conflicts with yours, are you able to hold on to it still as being valid? Right? Because this is the problem we often run into, is that we feel like one thing is true, somebody else feels like another thing is true, and therefore we butt heads and we cannot get past that moment in our relationship. But the heart habits would tell us we don't need to do that, because the truth is we can handle all of the various truths. We can carry them, we can make decisions with them in mind, even if we don't personally believe those things to be true for ourselves. This idea started in the concept that love rejoices in the truth, or as I like to say it, love celebrates truth. So when you think of celebrating something, what does that look like to you? Do we hide that thing? Do we cover it up? Do we put it in the back corners? No. The exact opposite, in fact. When we're celebrating the truth, we kind of bring it out, we pay attention to it, we shine light on it, we talk about it, we share it with other people, etc. So how can we celebrate truth from other people or other folks' truth without actually believing the things that they believe to be true? And the answer is we can do so by understanding that it is true for them. And therefore, it is true and it is necessary to be evaluated, thought of, considered, etc. So the habit itself is here. It's truth. And the mantra that goes with it is, I face objective and subjective truths head on and carry them simultaneously even when they conflict. Imagine with me how different relationships, conversations, different conflicts that maybe you've been a part of, imagine how different they would be if the individuals on both sides of that conflict were able to acknowledge, yeah, what you're saying is true for you, and I can respect that. And since it's true for you, let's look at it more deeply and figure out how to come to a resolution that meets your needs as well as my needs. Do you think it would help a little bit? Because let me just tell you, it absolutely does. People really appreciate when their truths are validated, even if they're different from yours. So the lesson of the day is, next time you're talking to someone or you're dealing with a relationship issue or a conflict or difficulty, whether it's in your job, at your house, with your kids, or anywhere else, stop yourself when you find them saying something that you feel is untrue. And just take a moment to say, okay, that is true for them. So since that's true for them, what does that mean for this situation? And how can we adapt our solution finding to understand that truth? Because regardless if you're doing that for a child, a shareholder, or an employee, it's going to be appreciated and noted, and it's going to come off as respect. So do I look a lot different now that I have makeup on and getting ready to get my hair done? I mean, my truth would say, yeah, I look way different. Your truth, though, might be that, nah, I look pretty much the same. Because I wear very little makeup and don't really care that much about any of it, right? And does that mean that I feel like I'm beautiful today? Yes, of course. Does that have to mean that you feel like I look beautiful today? No. And the beauty is, it's okay with me that you don't think that, because you're allowed to have your own perspective, and your truth is allowed to be your truth for you. I don't need it to be the same as my truth. And that's okay. I hope today you'll think about that, how you can listen to other people's truths even when they conflict with yours, and consider those truths as you make decisions going forward. All right? I love you.